What is up, Watch fam? Happy Tuesday and welcome to In the Metal. I just recorded a ton of content with my buddy over here, Anthony. You guys are going to see some amazing things at Liquor Run and Rent TNH. We just had a ton of fun today. We were drinking wine, talking about watches and business and entrepreneurship, and I'm super excited for what's to come. But before we continue on that level, let's talk about some watches.
Absolutely. This one is really cool.
All right? Let's do it. Check this out. It's a Rolex Thunderbird, reference 1625. I'll give you a little backstory. In 1953, a special unit of the United States Air Force dedicated to air demonstrations was born. They were called the Thunderbirds. Because of their awesome high-flying acrobatics, they quickly became a symbol of what it meant to be American. And to celebrate that, in 1959, Rolex released the Thunderbird model, a variation of the Datejust, with a new, rugged turnograph bezel. And this is the second reference of that watch. They were never as successful or as famous as their brother, the Datejust, but the case that they just might be even more interesting could definitely be made. And beyond that, just to look at the pure aesthetic, the design of the watch, I absolutely love how rugged it is. And not only that, but the fact that that rough, sporty bezel was manufactured in yellow gold, something that never happened with the 1603 and the engine turn bezel. I don't know, call me a Datejust geek, but this Thunderbird from 1969 has absolutely blown me away. Staying with sports watches, take a look at this ZODIAC SEAWOLF. Originally conceived in the 1950s, actually before the Rolex Submariner, this model was introduced in the late 1960s, early 70s. And while so many of its brothers and sisters have been beaten to hell, this example has remained pretty damn good. Its glossy black dial is untouched, its steel case is without any serious nicks or scratches, and its blue Bakelite bezel has retained that wonderful powder color. It's no secret that I am not a big sports watch guy, but this is exactly the kind of watch that gets me going. This is absolutely awesome. Manufactured in 1970, this Rolex date reference 1500 is spectacular. From its original Oyster bracelet to its almost brown or bronze, or I don't know how to describe it, but this incredible sunburst rich dial. The beauty seems to just not end. I've actually been lucky enough to find one other example of this dial before, and it sold in a flash. This is not one you want to wait on. And how about this little value prop? A Paul-Garnier in practically new old stock condition. Its yellow gold plate is not only undamaged, totally complete, but it's developed a beautiful rosy patina throughout. And then there's this Aquastar Genève. They call it the Atoll, but we both know what it is. It's a Submariner homage, and I absolutely love it. Look at all the elements going on here. It's got a beautiful matte black dial, gorgeous, evenly patinaed tritium throughout, a gray bezel insert that is not only beautiful, but totally reminiscent of the ghost bezels in the Rolex Submariner that we love so much. And finally, if all of that wasn't enough, insane original bevels on its case. As soon as I saw this watch, I absolutely knew I had to have it. And I am so glad I didn't miss it. And last, but certainly not least, my favorite, a Rolex reference 1601 from 1970 with a stunning sunburst dial, flawless tritium throughout both the hands and lume markers, and a Sigma stamp at 6. It's the reference 1601 that got me into this hobby, and it will be the first watch that I will give my son or daughter if I'm so lucky to have kids. Sourcing this week's watches was an absolute pleasure for me, just as it will be a pleasure to answer your questions and ship them off to their new geeky homes. Yes, they're officially live on theoandharris.com. So don't walk, run.